Everyone, it's Colin here on day 32 of my 30-day August dating challenge. So just to summarize like how that whole thing went. So I started off in July and I really I went, I thought that if I completed that, then I could just do anything and that I could just conquer my fears and blah, blah. And then I realized that there's a lot of room where I grew and then a lot of room for me to grow as well. And then so I took on this challenge, and I really thought it was going to be like just approaching and dating and learning how to lead in dating. And I actually uncovered a lot of like resistance and how I've been confronted in different ways. And where that came from is that I realized that guilt has been running my life. So I just I felt guilty about going on multiple dates with multiple people and like hanging out with different people, and like it was this, and I knew that I was going to be upfront about where I'm at. Like I knew I was going to be transparent, and so it actually, I think on some subconscious level, it had me sort of sabotage myself. And I even feel shitty and guilty about not fully completing the challenge. Like I only went on 22 dates out of 30, and I didn't keep my word, and I kind of feel like shit about that. And it's there a lot, and even in past relationships, like. I've always felt like it was my job to like be the help, if the other, like be in charge of the person's happiness. Like if they weren't happy, then I was like, oh, what can I do to make this person happy? And then if I didn't succeed, then I would feel guilty. And like even when I was getting dumped, like with my last girlfriend, I felt like I took full responsibility, and I was like, oh, it was all my fault, and I felt guilty, even though she was like basically leaving me for another girl. And like I just took total responsibility. And granted, like I can be responsible for some things, like but I can't be fully responsible for what the other person's dealing with. And I just realized I can't be fully responsible for anyone else's happiness other than my own. I can only do what I can to be happy myself, and then like take care of others to an extent, but I'm not in charge of other people's happiness. That's what I really totally got. And so, what I'm really taking on now is like being completely transparent and of what I'm willing and not willing to do. Like I learned a lot in the dating aspect. Like, for example, in the beginning it was really hard for me to like say what I was up to and say where I was at. It usually took me about halfway through the date, and then I was like, okay, look, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not interested in, like a serious relationship right now. And then like as I got better at it, like towards some of the dates I went on at the very beginning, I would say, look, I'm not looking for anything. I'm not looking for anything serious. I want to have fun. I like connecting. This is where I'm at. And instantly, like the energy of the date shifted. It went from like job interview to I can relax and like actually just be with this person. And it was so counterintuitive, because my the guilt that's running the show on some level is like, oh, if I say those things that they'll like leave me and I'll be like alone, and even though I'm just on a first date with this person. So I just noticed how often I'm doing things in order to like not have the woman like run off. And so now I'm even embracing this even more, and having like I didn't actually have full on like I'm actually going on 30 dates conversations from the very beginning. I usually end up telling people later, and almost always everyone was cool with it. So from the very beginning, I'm gonna like push that and keep like talking about what my needs are. And there's three things there. There's like I like to lead in relationships. It's just what I like to do, and I'm gonna practice doing that, and put that out there if you're okay with that. If not, it might not work out between us. I'll probably also be dating other people. Like that's something that I think rarely gets talked about, and if I don't talk about it, then I just have to talk about it. Like that's probably what's going to happen. Like I'm growing and I'm learning how to like lead in relationships, and I'll probably be dating other people. So if you're not okay with that, then this also probably going to work. And lastly, I'm very physical. I love to like cuddle and hold hands, and that's just something that I find very important. So if that's something that doesn't work for you, then we can totally, end this job interview right now and like go our separate ways. So that's something that I'm fully like taking on now. And then on a side note, I did get that experience of going on a date with somebody from another culture, which was the girl from Russia. And it was just, like I said before, like it was just so endearing, like with the accent and, the language barrier. But it was also interesting how I think the cultural differences, like she was much more straightforward. She wasn't like, didn't play all these games and like play it cool, and it was just like very straight, like hanging out with another human being. Like, okay, let's go on a date. Like, I'm interested in you. Like, let's meet up tomorrow. There wasn't this like weird thing that I'm totally guilty of doing that too, of like playing games and stuff like that. So, and the other thing was just because of the language barrier, like we couldn't get into like super deep intellectual, like language intense conversations. So it was really just practice of like being with another person. And that was fantastic. I loved just like hanging out with her and that whole experience. So, and it also like leads me into what I'm going to be looking in my next challenge. Aha! So there is going to be another one that I'm doing in September. So anyway, stay tuned, and thanks for watching and everything, and I will keep you posted.